Then, one morning without warning, Rue was gone. Only Naya knew where he went. He left behind no trail, no note, just a carving etched in the stone near the cliffs. If you want to know the jungle, learn to move, like a whisper. Jungleborn Act 2, Scene 1, The Lost King Returns, Cinematic Prose. Scene duration approximately 15 minutes. Time passed. The jungle changed, and yet, DID in single quotes, where once helicopters hovered, now only one remained grounded, dusty, its blades wrapped in vines. The research station had grown into something half-living, metal mixed with moss, monitors beside tree roots, tents swallowed by growing canopies. The humans called it the listening post, not a lab, not a base, just a place to hear. They had learned, slowly, painfully, not all, but many. They stopped cutting, they stopped capturing, they asked, and still. The jungle watched Luma, now taller, more sure-footed, walked through the woods barefoot, not because she had to, but because she chose to. Her shoes sat by the edge of the stream, untouched for weeks. She had grown into a whisperer. The apes accepted her. Naya followed her without question. Rava called her Leaf Hair, a nickname earned after one too many vine snares. But there was still a missing shadow in her world. He had vanished after the humans made their vow, left without sound or trail, like mist fading in sunlight. Some said he went to the high cliffs where no voice echoed. Others whispered that he became one with the vines, a spirit now, not a boy. But Luma didn't believe that. She believed he was watching, and she was right, far beyond the listening post, deeper than the hollow below. W lived between the seams of the jungle, a place where the paths didn't follow animal instinct or man's map. Here, the vines hung in silence. The trees grew twisted with secrets. The ruins stood taller, wilder, filled with carvings of other jungle born long before him. He studied them, not just the glyphs, but the silence between them. He no longer needed Marta to teach him. The forest itself spoke, and he listened. He learned from the wind how to drift, from the vines how to hold without clinging, from the serpents how to wait, from the ants how to build without destroying. But on the day the storm came, everything changed. It wasn't wind that warned him, it was absence. Birds flew in reverse patterns. The frogs didn't sing. The snakes slithered toward higher ground. The river turned black. He returned, not to the cliffs, not to the station, but to the edge, where jungle met clearing. Where Luma stood barefoot in the rain, staring at the dark tide pouring through the trees. Rue. She breathed. He stepped out of shadow, like thunder behind silence. Taller, leaner, not boy, not beast. Eyes, steady, hair wilder, chest scarred, not from battle but from life. You came back, she whispered. I never left, he said. Then he looked past her toward the unnatural flood. What happened? Luma pointed toward the base camp. The river was poisoned. It started upstream beyond the jungle border. Some company, Northland Geo, they opened a mine, said it wouldn't affect us. But it does, Rue said, watching a fish float, belly up in the water. It already has. They didn't listen. They never do the first time. Rava swung down from a tree nearby, panting. They're back, he said. Not the scientists. The men with loud shoes, with noise sticks. They're coming up the old path. Cora appeared from the shadows too, flanked by young warriors. They say it's legal, she spat. They hold papers like weapons. Marta stood behind them all. His eyes, older than Roots, met Rue's. You have returned. Du nodded. Not to fight, he said. Marta raised a brow. Then for what? Rue looked down at the dying river, then up toward the growing tension in the sky, to remind them that the jungle does not ask permission to be sacred. As the storm cracked overhead, thunder rolling across the trees, a new roar rose from deep within the jungle. But it was not beast, not fire, not fire. It was the return of a king, one not crowned by blood or law, but by balance and by choice. Jungleborn Act 2, Scene 2, The Tearing of the Treaty. Cinematic Prose. Scene duration 16 to 18 minutes. The morning was too quiet, the kind of quiet that comes just before something breaks. Birds perched in still clusters, their songs held in their throats. The apes no longer played near the cliffs. Even the insects had pulled back into the cool dark. In the middle of it all, the trees listened, tall, unmoving, older than any law written on paper. And then the cutting began. The first crack echoed through the jungle like a bone snapping. A sacred tamarind tree, nearly 5 centuries old, splintered under the teeth of a machine. Its roots fought back, trembled, twisted, but they could not stop the steel. Birds exploded into flight. Monkeys screamed from the canopy. The ground vibrated. Luma stumbled backward, heart racing. She had seen machines before, trucks, tents, even helicopters, but nothing like this. A crawler, armored in silver plates, its saw-toothed arms clawing trees from the earth like weeds. Men stood beside it. Hard hats, neon vests, guns. They wore ID tags, but not faces. Rue arrived just before the second tree fell. He stepped between the men and the roots, unarmed but unyielding. His eyes storm-sure and ancient despite his youth, locked with the lead man's. Stop, Rue said, one word. Heavy. The man director Shaw didn't flinch. You're trespassing on contracted land, Shaw said, reading from a clipboard without looking up. This zone has been approved for extraction by both the regional government and our own legal team. Your people were informed. Ru didn't move. This isn't your land, Shaw said. It's no one's. Ru took a single step forward. It's everyone's.